Hank here, and it's time for my review of 512 Audio's Skylight condenser microphone. Here's what you get besides the Skylight microphone: a shock mount, a windscreen, a carry bag, a 3/8 inch to 5/8 inch adapter, and documentation. The suggested retail of the 512 Audio Skylight is $199.99 US. However, I was able to obtain it for $49.95 US. The build quality is superb with tons of heft. This microphone comes in at 2.2 pounds, second in my collection anyway, only to the Neat King B2. The low profile shock mount is one of the heaviest shock mounts I've ever used. The overall design is very appealing in my opinion, with the only exception being the cheap looking windscreen that they say is custom. The Skylight has a large 34mm gold-plated capsule. It's a condenser mic that requires 48 volts phantom power. It has a cardioid polar pattern, a frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, a max SPL of 144 dB, a sensitivity of -42 dBV. I looked far and wide all across the internet and I was unable to find the self-noise rating, so if you have that, please drop it in the comments down below. Since this microphone is free of switches, we'll jump straight to a couple of tests. Now, typically I will not do plosive tests on a condenser microphone because it's a condenser microphone. Let's give her a test. At approximately 6 inches away from the microphone, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. At approximately 3 inches away from the microphone, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. For a little off-axis and rear rejection test, if I were banging away at the old keyboard here, this is what you'd pick up in the background. If I was trying to be a little more stealthy, this is what you'd pick up. If I had someone to my left a couple of feet and they were on their own microphone, this is the bleed you could expect to pick up in this microphone. Hey, how are you? I'm a couple feet off to the left of the microphone. This is what you could expect to pick up from a co-host bleeding into your microphone. Now, if somebody was a couple of feet behind the back of the microphone, talking away on their own microphone, this is the bleed you'd expect to pick up. Now back on the microphone, this is how it sounds with no processing going through the Rodecaster video. Let's turn on a little processing, a little punch on the settings here. First, we'll try a little depth on the Rodecaster video settings. This is a default setting that Rode has set up to add a little oomph to the sound. Now I'm adding some punch via the setting on the Rodecaster video, and this is what it sounds like. So is it a little too heavy-handed? Let me know in the comments. With the processing turned off, this is just the natural sound of the Skylight by 512 Audio. Let me know in the comments, did you prefer either one of the settings or do you like just the natural sound of the microphone? Now I'm on the Shure SM7B, no processing turned on the Rodecaster video, just as a quick barometer gauge of how you like the sound in comparison to the Skylight. So this is the Shure SM7B. This is what I sound like. I'm going to switch back to the 512 Audio Skylight right now. All right, back on the 512 Audio Skylight, and this is what it sounds like in comparison to the Shure SM7B. The SM7B is obviously the most ubiquitous microphone on the internet as of right now, and so it's a good barometer even though it's a dynamic microphone. It's a good microphone to test against even though it's a dynamic and this is a condenser microphone. When it comes to pros, this microphone is extremely well constructed. Absolutely love the low profile shock mount, and just the overall weight of the microphone just sends it over the top for me. To piggyback on that, it has a very memorable design. This cool looking grill, once you see it, you can't unsee it, and you'll recognize this microphone from a mile away. Another pro would be the high max SPL. And the main pro, in my opinion, this really does have a clean, pleasing sound. I like the sound of this microphone. There's no processing turned on the Rodecaster video at this moment in time, And I think even when you do turn on a little bit of the processing, it just tightens it up even that much more. It almost has a finished sound to it, but we'll see what your take is in the comments. Cons wise, it requires a little more gain than I anticipated it would, but it's not a deal breaker or anything, but it is significantly more than some of the other microphones I have here in the studio. Another con is their quote unquote custom pop filter. I see this on Amazon and other places all over the place. It's cheap. I actually have one that came with some super low budget microphone, and so this is not a custom windscreen. So had they gone that extra mile and made a custom windscreen for real for this microphone and made it look in the style of the grill or something, that'd have been awesome. And lastly, no self noise rating. I'm always skeptical when you can't give me all the stats of some product. Overall, if you can get this for $49.95, this is a steal in my opinion. The construction is amazing. The look is pleasing, and the sound quality I think is really, really good in this sub $200 price point. I think the microphone will be well worth the purchase even at $199.99. However, the only thing that matters is your thoughts on the microphone. What do you think of this sound? No processing turned on? How do you like it? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thank you.